Finally, after all this time I found you.
Approach, child, I am the spirit of Delphi, speaker of the prophecies of Phoebus Apollo. Approach and face your destiny.
I have a destiny?
Your desire to take on as much as possible will be your downfall. You put so much focus in one class and forget other assignments until the last minute. You've convinced yourself that when you are not overwhelmed you are procrastinating. This shall be your doom.
Yeah, I knew that already.
What?
Yeah, even this journal. I'm animating it the night before it's due. I have 2 essays for global capitalism, due in a relatively close time frame, on top of YAP and this we believe, just 76 more years.
Then why come to seek the wisdom of Apollo?
I was wondering, how does the understanding of young adolescents, and middle-level philosophy of interdisciplinary curriculum, affect curriculum planning?
I think your personal understanding of the curriculum is what should ultimately affect how you go about planning. But, I suppose, I can offer wisdom from the gods. As an educator, the goal of your curriculum is to help students understand larger concepts. They should be able to process information, no matter the subject, in a way that makes sense to them. One of the teachers, in the video, What is Understanding by Design?, makes the statement that knowing and understanding are not entirely the same. In your education psychology class last semester, you've read and learned about rote memorization. That's exactly the same concept. A student can know the definition of a word, let's use intersectionality as an example, and recite it to you. But that doesn't necessarily mean they fully understand how it would play out in a real-world environment. You need to help them put that into context. Like, how does someone experience the day-to-day, when the different parts of their identity overlap?
How did you know what class I took?
I'm the Oracle, I know everything.
What number am I thinking of?
Trick question. You think in interpretive dance.
Point taken. I agree that the goal of understanding by design is to help students transfer learning. Something that helped me do better in high school math was a conversation I had with my cousin, rest in peace, Keith. He told me that I had to think about the questions in my own way. His example was, in a movie the main character learned math through the market of selling products. Personally, when I thought about math in terms that were easier for me to understand personally, it was a lot easier to grasp. Robert, from Phoenix, even mentioned how students can learn to do complex tasks through hands-on experience. No letter grades, no formulas, no billion assignments per course, just natural learning. As a teacher, something I want to do is have lesson planning be more behind the scenes. When students were doing station work, my cooperating teacher talked about how, even though it seems like stations are all student effort, there's plenty of planning on his part. Although students are working in independent groups, he still makes sure the activities line up with what they need to be learning. That way he can go between groups and ask the specific questions about their readings and/or videos.
That leads into more information from another What's Understanding by Design video. The goal of this method isn't get good grades. It's to provide information kids will use. And as much as it gets used as a counterpoint by students complaining about school, there should be more to teaching than the mitochondria being the powerhouse of the cell. Teachers need to utilize backwards design.
What do you mean?
Well, what do you want students to know by the end of the lesson? Why does them learning what you teach matter? These are questions you should ask yourself while planning out your curriculum. Keep in mind what your end goal there. From there you write out the lesson, then start the lesson. Hence why the design is backwards. Hold on. I'm hearing advice from Apollo. He says, quote, I have the same advice that was given in the videos, think big but start small. Don't do the talent thing, where you try to tackle all of it at once. Let it be. Effective understanding by design might even enable students to be engaged enough to take charge and shift into student direction. At Phoenix Middle School, the students seem to have more of a say in their own learning. While working on the YAP project, you've let the students lead most of the discussions. Last time you did placement in real life, your students did bulk of the work. They ultimately decided how they were going to do their poster boards, while you provided input about their ideas. and kept them on task when you had to. Even though there was a last minute change of plans, they were able to build off of your direction. That last minute change was a testament to how much, and how quickly, students are able to adapt, based on their Phoenix experience. You're really better at this than you've given yourself credit for, or even realized. Yeah, the amount of work you need to do feels like a lot. Remember, you yourself are learning by design. Without realizing it, you're applying the information you've learned in order to have an impactful influence in field placement. Remember what the reading and chart for this module taught you. There are standards requiring by the state and federal governments, but the way they're taught is based on your vision on how you format the curriculum. One last piece of advice. Shine on, you crazy diamond.
I have another question. How do I get Tom Holland to love me?
Keeping dreaming.